Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whichever part of the world and whatever time zone you're joining us from. Welcome. Welcome to the 2022 edition of the Black Consciousness Festival, where we're focusing on healing and reconnection. The Black Consciousness Festival is a global platform that connects people of African descent with each other by sharing and encouraging exchange through information, traditions, histories, intentions, traumas, celebrations, legacies, stories connecting to pride, power, and practice. Our inaugural year was in 2020, where we curated a month of conversations and activities around topics of Black consciousness. In 2021, we had a few events: a youth festival, a weekend of conversations on reparations, and in November, conversations on shift, as we explored the many ways in which we, as people of African descent, shared and rebirthed elements of ourselves. The recordings of all these conversations are available on our website, theblackconsciousnessfestival.com, and our YouTube channel. As you listen to the conversations, we encourage you to be kind to yourself. Pause, breathe consciously, move, and appreciate all that you are. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. Enjoy.
Ekabo, welcome. It is a joy to be here on this Black Consciousness Day in Brazil, O Dia da Consciência Negra. And if I didn't get the pronunciation, accurately, Sean will tell me later on. But it's such a joy to be here. And we stand with our siblings in Brazil as they celebrate this day, as they remember Zumbi, that great freedom fighter. And I was listening into the earlier conversation with Christian dos Santos from Brazil, and she was saying, we celebrate the moment. We look back at our past and build new possibilities for future. Our ancestors started this movement, and we have to look at new ways of growing. And I think it's the most auspicious day to be having this conversation around emancipation circles. So, welcome again. How did we get here to having Community Healing Network, joining us this morning? Short story. A colleague who I know Anna Maria Mora will know, and friend Dr. Keith Likwai, sent me in October a TED Talk entitled Emancipation from Mental Slavery. Dr. Cheryl Grills is the person who was doing this TED Talk. Mm-hmm. It resonated so deeply with me, and I think if we can go deeper than resonance, that's the other level we would go to. In terms of how I felt when I heard this TED Talk, I shared it with Sean and a couple others, and Sean acted. Sean reached out to you, Jan. You responded with so much warmth and, quickness, because this is October we're talking about, right? And 7 weeks later, we're here. So Sean responded, you got in touch with Anna Maria, and we're here this morning. So I want to say thank you to Dr. Keith Likwai for sharing the video, for Sean for just being who he is and reaching out. And, his thing is always, all they can say is, no, we're going to ask. Sean doing that, Jan, you're responding, Anna Maria coming on board, and we're here this morning for this conversation on emotional emancipation circles. So thanks again. And I look forward to the conversation. Over to you, Jan and Anna Maria.
Thank you so much, Erica. It's a pleasure to be here. So glad to be part of the Black Consciousness Festival. I am Jan Berger. I am the community manager at Community Healing Network. Our mission is to mobilize Black people across the African diaspora to heal from the trauma caused by centuries of anti-Black racism, to free ourselves of toxic stereotypes, and to reclaim our dignity and humanity as people of African ancestry. Our vision is a world in which all Black people have moved beyond surviving to flourishing and are enjoying life in all of its fullness in body, mind, and spirit. Thank you so much for having us here today. Anna Maria.
Thank you, John. I'm Ana Maria Mora, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a counseling psychologist and educator. And I received, I am usually very curious about a lot of stuff. So with my laptop, I would be, searching and just going through on a daily basis. And I found the Emancipation, the circles, emotional emancipation circles, and the community healing network. That's what I found. And I read and found that it was interesting. And this was way back in 2017. And I applied to become a trainer. So I ended up in Washington doing the training. And I've been working with it with our local Emancipation Support Committee. And I would do it with groups, just, basic. Trinidad is, I think Sean and they might support me with this, that it's a little difficult to deal with with this issue, but we have to continue. And I'm really happy that John got in touch with me because this is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, and she felt that I could make a contribution. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And normally we would have our circles in person, and Anna Maria will talk with you about the significance of being in a circle from an African philosophy and perspective. We are doing emotional emancipation circles virtually. Our next one will begin in January. And I will go ahead and put our registration information in the link in the chat now and then again at the end. Anna Maria?
Okay. This circle, I don't know if you all have been, seeing African movies or documentaries. They are always sitting in circles under trees. And I think we know that a circle has no beginning and no end. And in a circle, you can see people. You can see people face to face. There's nobody sitting behind somebody in a chair, you in front and somebody else in front of you. You are looking at the person's back. You can see people's faces and communicate with what's happening with the person, because people's faces speak a lot. And I think this is briefly that the reason we have the emotional emancipation circles and within the community healing network. And if you can go online and search for African culture and the meaning of why is a circle important in African culture. So I just gave you a little hint that it is something with, and when you hear about Sawubona, which we're going to talk about in a little while, and even Ubuntu, Ubuntu means I am, because we are. Without you, I will be nothing. And a circle helps us to understand that we are all in this together. So, thank you.
Thank you. And so what is an emotional emancipation circle? Emotional emancipation circles are evidence-informed, psychologically sound, culturally grounded, and community-defined self-help support groups designed to help heal and end the trauma caused by the root cause of anti-Black racism, the century-old lie of white superiority and inferiority. Originated by Community Healing Network and developed in collaboration with the Association of Black Psychologists, emotional emancipation circles are liberatory spaces in which Black people share stories, deepen our understanding of the impact of historical forces on our sense of self-worth, our relationships, and our communities, and learn essential emotional wellness skills to help us be as best individuals and as a people. Thank you. Next, we will listen to a Salbona meditation, and Anna Maria will give us some instruction before I play our Salbona meditation.
Yes, I need you all to listen to this meditation very carefully. I hope you really focus. Don't let anything disturb your peace or your ability to focus. And as you listen, if you can just pick out or choose a word, a phrase, or a sentence that really resonates or hit you, and you kind of just pay more attention. So if you can get a sheet of paper, you should have a sheet of paper with you, and write down a word, a phrase, or a sentence that made you, that caught your attention while this meditation is being played.
Not that one here, not yet. We're going to do another meditation, but please hang on to that music for a little bit later. Thank you, Anna Maria. Please sit gently, breathe deeply, and enjoy this Salbona meditation. These beautiful words were written by Shelley Harrell these beautiful words were written by Shelley Harrell and read by Community Healing Network founder and president, Enola G. Aird.
This is a chance to really see, to sawubona, because too often we see ourselves and each other through the lies, the biases, and the stereotypes that take our humanity away. This is an invitation to sawubona, to see beneath, behind, and beyond appearances, to see, hear, and feel. I see you. I see you through eyes that transcend my own sight. I see you beneath superficial impressions, beneath stereotypes, projections, and expectations, beneath ego and reputation. I see you beyond your conditions and circumstances. I see you behind the walls you have put up and the masks you have put on. I see your humanity and your humanness. I see your divinity, the radiance of who you really are. I see you at your best, manifesting your greatest purpose and your soul's calling. I see the soul of who you are. I see you. I hear you. I hear you through ears tuned into the whisperings of soul and spirit. I hear you beneath what you say, beneath the words you use and the language you speak. I hear you behind what has been silenced and hidden. I hear you beyond what I want to hear. I hear your truth, the truth of your lived experience. I hear the voice of your deepest intentions, who you really want to be and how you really want to act. I hear your dreams and highest aspirations. I hear the soul of who you are. I hear you. I feel you. I feel you from the vibration of our oneness where our souls recognize each other. I feel you beneath our differences in that space of our interconnectedness with each other and all life. I feel you behind the visible and invisible barriers that separate us. I feel you beyond any mental, emotional, or soul bondage. I feel your freedom and your liberation. I feel the power of your ancestors flowing through you over generations, across space and across time. I feel your rhythm, your unique expression and energy in the world. I feel your vulnerability and your victories, your struggles and your strengths, your tears and your triumphs, your regrets and your risings. I feel the love within you. I feel your heart. I feel the soul of who you are. I feel you.
Thank you so much, family. Please share with us in the chat any words, phrases, thoughts, or feelings that came up for you while listening to that beautiful Salbona meditation.
Erica has I see you. Erica, what about that resonated with you? Is she hearing me?
I think so.
Well, with me, it's I hear you beneath what you say, because, I have been trained to listen to what people are not saying. They are saying something, but underneath that, there is something else going on. I hear you beneath what you say. And I think we need to really practice, because somebody could be saying they're happy, but their face doesn't say it. But if we're not paying attention, we wouldn't pick that up.
And for me, it is I feel you. The more and more that we do this work together as Black people, as global Africans, I believe that we have the ability to vibrate with each other, to sense each other. It's almost a superpower to feel each other. And so we have an innate sense of being able to sense one another's vibration. And Erica in the chat says, seeing is so deep. She says, seeing for me is being present, being aware.
Mm-hmm.
Sean also comments that instinct and intuition. Thank you so much for that. Any other comments, thoughts, or feelings that came up for anyone during that beautiful Salbona meditation? We'll just give another moment or two to let those words and music sink in with you.
And I just wanted to say that Sawubona is a Zulu word, right? It's a Zulu word, and it means I see you. We tend to be passing people we know in the street. Hi, how are you going? And they say, hi, good man, and they go, we're gone. But I good man is just a response we give everybody, and they may not be good, but that's just how we do things. Hi, how are you going? Good. And we're gone. We're not thinking of really what is going on with that person. We were not standing up for a little while and making them feel that we're really seeing them. They're not just passing by.
And Jamie says in the chat, is Dr. Fu Kuai, pardon me if I mispronounced that, says, seeing is feeling. And Ruth says, there is also power in being seen. Being seen means that I am part of community, I relate, and I exist. Jeremy adds, I felt deep and emotional. Absolutely. Erica also adds, feeling of being loved and held so sweetly. This is who we are. This is absolutely who we are. Thank you, family, for submitting those comments.
I think our history changed us, huh?
Mhm.
Yes, our history took that away from us. So Community Healing Network is working on helping people to understand that is really who we are, interested and wanting to find out about our communities and, colleagues, and really, learning about them and not just passing like ships in the night.
It is being communal, being a collective. And Jeremy also adds like a connection of a calling. And Jamie says, part of it is that we speak about wanting to be seen, but in the simple exchange of how are you, we shrink away because part of the truth is we are afraid to be seen because it means we must also see ourselves. Absolutely. How very true. How very true. Yeah. Thank you, family, for those comments. Anna Maria, shall we move on to our next segment?
Ancestral mathematics.
Yes. Please, family, sit gently, breathe deeply, snuggle in and relax while we read these words over you. Ancestral mathematics. In order to be born, you needed 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 second great-grandparents, 32 third great-grandparents, 64 fourth great-grandparents, 128 fifth great-grandparents, 256 sixth great-grandparents, 512 seventh great-grandparents, 1024 eighth great-grandparents, 2048 ninth great-grandparents. Dear ones, in order for you to be born today from 12 previous generations, you needed a total of 4,094 ancestors over the last 400 years. Think for a moment. How many struggles? How many battles? How many difficulties? How much sadness? How much happiness? How many love stories? How many expressions of the hope for the future did your ancestors have to undergo for you to exist in this present moment? Our beloved organizers will soon give me a sense of how many people we have with us today so we can do a little bit of math. 4,094 ancestors for each and every one of us. How much they have been through, how much their lineage has brought to us over time, over the generations. Dear ones joining us today, we have 28,658 ancestors that have arrived on our behalf. Anna Maria.
Remember, I told you that when I first heard this, I lost breath. I lost my breath because it was just wow. And I went to the pain, the pain that yes, there was happiness and a lot of love in the communities, but also there was pain. When you think about, the history and what our ancestors went through so that we could be just that we could be, and it really is mind-boggling. I would really like to hear just a reaction to hearing Jan read this what is called ancestral mathematics. I found it just amazing. I took some time to catch my breath after I heard it. So just a reaction, if there's anybody who would like to express how they felt. I'm not sure if you have heard it already, you could say that. But if you had never heard it, what happened with you while listening to it?
Jamie says, Simba Simbi, we hold up those who hold us up. This is a beautiful sharing and exchange. John says, ancestral mathematics, new concept for me. Thanks for the illumination. John also adds, I like the fact that several persons contributed to who I am now. Sean says, it makes me very emotional because I remember reading that we are the product of many generations of love. Absolutely. Erica adds, emotional and powerful. And we, dear ones, are also on this continuum of ancestors. One day, 400 years from now, we would have been ancestors that contributed to our loved ones moving forward into the world and their contributions. Jamie adds, my soul rejoices at this acknowledgement. Give thanks for our ancestors. And Asha says, thank you for sharing this. We are never alone. And Asha, you said it perfectly. Every time I'm reminded of my ancestors, I call on my ancestors in the morning, I read ancestral mathematics. That is the very thing that it brings to me so clearly, is that we are never alone. Mm-hmm. Our ancestors are here with us. They move forward with us. They inform us. And they are available to us anytime that we can consult with them.
Yep. I'm reminded of many years ago, I have a dear friend who brought a friend of his to Trinidad. And I met him. The first place he wanted to go was to the cemetery. And that blew my mind because nobody had ever asked me. Any tourist has never asked me to take them to the cemetery. So we're in Aruca. Some of you may know Aruca, and there's a cemetery in the Roman Catholic church. So we went, and he said, this is a place where he does what he said needs to do, give homage to our ancestors. And that again had me breathless. And he wanted to be quiet. He didn't want any talking. So he was very, very quiet. And it really did take me back. And it was an exercise for me that every time now I make sure, that because the church is there and the cemetery is right outside the door, you could see. And it was very, very interesting for me that as a tourist, he wanted to go to a cemetery. And I probably could understand why now with this ancestral mathematics.
Especially also, Anna Maria, because we as a people have been cast throughout the globe like seeds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Against our will, we have been deposited in all of these places, these countries that were not built for us, made for us, that were not designed for our success and our flourishing. We were put there for the purposes of power and greed for other people. Mm-hmm. And so an acknowledgement of our ancestors is really, making that connection to all of the struggle and the strife that went before us, and also how so much love.
Yep.
And thinking about all of the surviving, we have had love. And sometimes it's been interrupted, and sometimes it's been able to flourish and grow. And we are the product of all of that.
Yeah. And interesting for me is like my dad was born in a very rural community in the mountains. Didn't have much. He used to dance cocoa because they were cocoa planters. And when I look at him, or when I heard him, because It's my dad. He was around me, but the ambition that he had to do well and to ensure that his children did well, that ambition, you wonder, it seems as if, for me, it's deep inside of us. It is deep inside. There are some of us who need help to have it come out, but he had an ambition, like walking 7 miles in this little bus, we say bus up rubber slipper, but and made something of himself so that his children would not have to go through what he went through. But I mean, he told us his stories, and that is something I think parents need to. I don't think parents tell children their stories enough, to have them really learn about what happened and what brought them to this, all this pain and happiness, and that brought us here. Parents are so busy at work and making sure that the dinner is on the table and homework is done, and there's no opportunity really for sitting and talking about this ancestral stories.
Absolutely.
Many of us don't know further than maybe our great-grandparents, if so far, so that is something that I think needs to happen in our communities.
And just as Asha says in the chat, we've been encouraged to disconnect from our roots and our ancestors. That is also by design.
Mm-hmm.
Just as our consciousness that Anna Maria will talk about shortly. And, just to reiterate Erica's words of, today is Black Consciousness Day in Brazil. How perfectly timed for this festival. Anna Maria, would you like to share some words about consciousness? Because that is also a threat to the powers of be.
Yeah, thank you. I just have a notice that I need to plug in my device. Maybe excuse me 1 minute.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so these are the kinds of things that we also talk about in emotional emancipation circles. How we have come to be where we are, and how we will move forward and thrive and strive as Black people. I don't see Anna Maria on my screen right now, so she may need to come back and join us. And so she will. Here she is. Oh,
yes,
wonderful.
thank you. Thank you.
I got scared for a moment. I thought, oh my goodness, we lost you.
No. This whole thing about consciousness, because I do what I do, I know, and I always talk about this, that we are creatures of habit. And being a creature of habit means that we act or we behave from the we do things just because we have been taught to do them, taught to say them. So we do the same thing over and over and expect different results. Okay, and you all know that is the new definition, I think the 21st definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. So when I saw the name of this Black Consciousness Festival, I said, oh dear, this is good, because we need to be very much aware of our surroundings, of our history, what really about who we are, because we do act because our parents, some of us, because our parents did it that way, their parents did it that way, their parents' parents did it that way, and we are doing the same things parents did and great grandparents did, and what have you. One of the things I am very much into trying to work on with communities is this whole thing about licks and corporal punishment, which is something that came down with our history. And a lot of people say, you get licks and you're okay, that there's licks that have you thriving. I said, really? Because for me, as I tell them, I'm a late developer because of licks. I'm a late developer. And I work with young people to understand their purpose and what have you, because a lot of them don't know why they were born, what is their purpose in life, and because parents make them feel that it would have been better that they were not born. A lot of parents make children feel that way, and even working with parents and having them become conscious of their behavior, what they are doing, that there is so much unhappiness in the home. There's unhappiness in a home, and that's not what our purpose is, but they really do not know. And that is why it is so important for us to understand the habits that we display or that we do. What are we doing that really is not contributing to our success, our fulfilling our purpose? What is it we are doing? We have to, a lot of times, take some time to think about, especially if we are unhappy people. In Trinidad and Tobago, African ancestry is not, helping the descendants, because we have a lot of issues with criminality and what have you with our African community, and you could see with the history and the ancestors that it comes down. So you have a mother who had a baby at 14, her daughter is going to have a baby at 14, and so it goes. Nobody trying to stop this, because there's so much unhappiness as they come down through the ages. So my thing is this whole thing about being conscious of where you are, where you came from, what is the reason why it seems as if there's no progress in the whole, in the family, let's say family tree. There's no progress. There is a mother who is behaving as her great grandmother did, because that's what she learned, and just came down without thinking, dropped out of school, started to have children, those kinds of things. And we really have to be conscious of our history, what brought us here, and of our future. What future are we creating for ourselves and our children?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anna Maria. Just like Erica says in the chat, we are cruel to ourselves without even realizing it, and we don't talk about our history. And just as you mentioned, raising awareness, raising our own consciousness leads to a behavior change that can interrupt unhealthy family patterns. Taking a moment to think, what is the future I'm creating for myself and my children? And the cards are already stacked against us. With systemic racism, it's meant to keep us in fear. It's meant to keep us stagnant. It's meant to, just as Anna Maria says, keep us in habitual behavior. Because if we stop and think for a moment, just like ancestral mathematics says, think for a moment of all of the struggles that have come before one. How can we do those things differently? What is the behavior change that we can bring forward that will bring less fear to ourselves and our future generations? And this is exactly what we talk about in emotional emancipation circles as well. How can we do that? And we do that collectively. They're based in African philosophy, as well as the wellness tools. And this is not easy work, what Anna Maria is saying, raising consciousness. It is not easy. it does take some reflection, some time, and thinking about the next steps. How will this move everything forward? As Asha says in the chat, the society has built on a colonial mindset which still prevails and makes us feel that everything African is negative, thus producing a confused people. Absolutely, absolutely. And as we move forward in our program, Anna Maria, I think might be a good time for us to play our video. We'll talk about, what are these lies, and really what are the truths. Is it okay with you that we play the video now, Anna Maria?
Yeah, sure.
Kieran, please play our video. Thank you so much for that.
This is the one with the young man and the spoken word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's called Defy the Lie. And here we go.
Yeah.
You've been lied to. You've been lied to and you probably don't know it. Defy the lie and embrace the truth. I'm saying defy the lie of black inferiority and embrace the truth of black humanity. You see, black people have been burdened by this lie for far too long. Too many songs sang and bodies hanging. Abuse is rooted in the fact as ugly as the act that black is somehow something other than beautiful. And if you tell a lie long enough, if it gets far enough from its origin that the people who tell it believe it to be true, you can hold a mirror up to the most beautiful little brown boy or girl and watch him frown a little. Watch her wince a bit. See them deny what is the very definition of beauty for the false belief that what they see is the exact opposite. The truth is, our ancestors made a way out of no way. They made frightening days and nights of fighting into the envy of the world. They slaved mightily, ages rife with biding time, waiting for that perfect moment that almost never came. The beautiful struggle. The lie is as old as 1619, being told over and over and over, so convincingly it seems that we can't look into the mirror and see what's really there. The truth. Bodies freed in 1863 with the legacy so stifling that for some chains are not needed because the mind is trained to believe it is incapable of seeing anything that isn't described in great detail by someone more qualified than the beholder whose eye is trying to focus on it. The tie to the lie so strong that we even begin to tell it like it's our actual history. The lie so effective that its originator need not tell it anymore. Its effect so great a whole nation looks into the mirror and grimaces. A lie so ugly. A crime so vicious. A truth so obvious. A people so beautiful. Yet we see us every single day and never even stop to take a second look. We're so busy seeing the ugliness of the world in the mirror that we never get around to seeing the beauty in ourselves. Emotional emancipation is defying the lie. The severing of the tie to it and the embracing of the truth that you are so much more than his story, and at the very least, you're human. Humanity. Embrace it as truth. Defy the lie. Look into that mirror and see beauty for what it is. Please, go to communityhealingnet.org to sign up to take the pledge to defy the lie and embrace the truth. Please, sign up, commit, embrace the truth, and spread the word.
Anna Maria, would you like to tell family how we will proceed with our activity next?
Another breathtaking away moment for me. Every time I hear him, it's like, whew, it never ends,
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Anyway, the point is, yes, as John would say, family, we are going to, you have your sheets of paper. We want to call out the lies. We would really like you to write down and begin to name the lies that were told about us. And we are going to discuss it through the chat. Let us hear, maybe you can start with Black people are. You can start your sentence with Black people are and finish with whatever the lie is, the lie that have been told about us and that we believe because we have heard it over and over and over the generations. So Black people are. Maybe you can get about 4. Those of you who could get who could get more, that's fantastic. So Black people are. John, how long did we give for this?
I think maybe
We have some time. We said 30 minutes, but we would hope that, yeah, that they really take time to think. I know it would be difficult because we're so accustomed with the lies being our truth that it's difficult. So what do you think? Give them some time?
maybe just 5 minutes to write down the lies, and then we can come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are also, just as Anna Maria said, Black people are. So these can be lies that have been told to you personally, or lies that you just have heard in general about Black people. And so, there are so many. Please, take these 5 minutes to, really just search your brain and your soul, your historical memory for everything that you feel like you've been heard about yourself and or Black people. And Karen has a little music for us as we are writing down these lies. And yes, there are some people putting them in the chat right now, which is awesome. And we will read those in a bit.
Oh dear, John, you're keeping time, right? Just realize. Oh my goodness. Wow, John, the time is flying. And we thought that we would not have enough,
Absolutely. And that's been our 5 minutes to write down the lies that we have either been told directly or indirectly. And Anna Maria, if you allowed me to read some of them, and for people who haven't had an opportunity to put them in the chat, please do so now. Erica writes, Black people are ugly, lazy, have no ambition. We cannot do our own business.
Yeah.
Black people are making too many children.
I would want to focus on Black people are ugly, lazy, and have no ambition and cannot do our own business. Actually, we will focus on all the lies, but we also have to, can we identify anywhere in our society, look at the list and say how and where this lie is spread? Can you do that? Can you identify how and where the lie is spread? Let us look at Black people are ugly. How and where is that lie spread?
Absolutely. Sean also writes that Black people are ugly. How do we get these messages?
Yeah. How do we get these messages?
Yeah.
So we'll give them about 2 minutes, 3 minutes to write something or to think. If anybody could write in the chat where and how are these, that lie, how is that lie spread that Black people are ugly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as people are thinking about that, and they're also, writing those down, I'll just name a couple of other lies that we may move on to. If Black people are classless, Black people are too loud, Black people came from slaves, just are some of the other lies that people have written in the chat. And yes, please take a moment. And how are these lies spread? How do we come about this information? If no one has ever said you as a Black person is ugly to your face, how have we still gotten that message?
Black people have no morals.
Black people have awful hair.
Yes.
Thank you so much, family, for putting all of these lies in the chat. So many of them.
Mm-hmm. Those of you who have identified how these lies and where are they spread, you could start putting it in so that we could focus on them, because that is important. How do we hear or feel that we really are not good enough?
Anna Maria, shall I read some of the other lies in the chat as we wait for the new information to come in?
Yeah, sure.
So let's see. Sean also writes, Black people are lazy, vulgar, ugly, classless. Ruth says Black people are too loud. Jamie says Black people came from slaves and have awful hair. Asha adds, Black people are beautiful and dynamic. Black people, Sean also says Black people are enslaved because they sold each other. Yeah. And Sean says, this is one of the ways in which he heard lies. Comments were made by family members. That's his first recollection. He also writes, my grandmother was dark-skinned and would make derogatory comments about anyone dark-skinned.
Mm-hmm.
Sean also adds, Black people are not trustworthy. Ruth says that how she believes these lies have been spread and how we have been informed of this is via traditional media, where other aesthetics, beauty, and ideals are upheld. Sean also continues with lies that Black people are not dependable. And Jamie says that they're also spread by media and history books.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
the one about how it spread, there are advertising agencies that say they do not want any models who are dark skinned. They don't want models who are dark skinned because they do not photograph well, or that the camera doesn't, the video camera, it's not able to, they don't come across well with videos. So advertising agencies look for light-skinned, soft-haired people to, you could check how many ads. I mean, in Trinidad and Tobago, they're trying, some companies I notice are trying to change that mindset, but it is not changing fast enough and not enough at all. But that has been there for years and years and years. You would only see light-skinned, straight-haired, blue-eyed people in ads, advertisements, and that doesn't make us feel good about ourselves. It's changing, but very, very slowly.
Absolutely. The media, and also Erica writes in the chat, from persons of authority.
Yeah.
How many of us have been in school as young ones or even teenagers and just been ourselves and laughing and having a good time, and we're told that we're too loud,
Mm-hmm.
that we need to be quiet, we need to be a smaller person, we need to contract ourselves to fit into whatever institutional setting that we're in.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about Black people are stupid. Our children find themselves in special ed classes. Those are the kinds of things that, and some parents recognize what is happening and they try as much as possible to fix it, but it is very, very difficult, because there are other parents, maybe there's a PTA meeting in which it is brought up, but other parents are not willing to, let's say, fight the system, just leave it, and there are children who move through special ed, but if they were taught as the teacher, because a lot of them are put in the back of the class and the others are in front, so they get all the attention and what have you. And then when our children become aggressive and are angry about what is happening, because they can see the discrimination, they could see it and feel it, so then it spirals because they are angry and they hit out at some other child who might be getting the teacher's favor because of their lighter skin, whatever. So those are some of the things that are just perpetuating the lies.
And also in our own families, Sean writes, as a mixed race child, I was isolated by my non-Black family.
Yep.
And so we get these messages from our family as well. And so often parents are trying to prepare Black children for the world and all that we may face. And so, it also starts in the home, in which, be quieter or be gentler or be smarter or be focused, which also really contracts the freedom and the expression of who we are. And absolutely, just as one of our family members, Jamie, wrote history books, here in the US, we learn about Black people in slavery and then nothing until the migration from the South to the North. So, there's chunks of time, hundreds of years often, where, Black people are just sort of not seen, documented, doing anything. So the idea that we're lazy and just kind of hanging around and not participating in anything in the Industrial Revolution or any inventions or medical advances or how we're interacting with our community and building businesses is just not even available to learn.
And there's been a call for changing our curriculum in schools, but that's not happening, because all our textbooks, would have that the nothing about our development and successes. The textbooks would have nothing about that.
Absolutely. And also Erica writes in the chat, religion, black is the devil. Anything black is not good. Anything dark is not something to be moved toward. A dark force, is considered to be bad. And, the Catholic Church had its role in the enslavement, the perpetual enslavement of black people. Papal bulls were written in the 1400s that literally gave, especially the Portuguese, permission to go into other countries, Africa especially, and take what they wanted and to enslave people as they wanted. Other people have been enslaved. So slavery was not new when it was up against black people, but it was very different. Either they were indentured for a certain amount of time, they met their expectation and they were let go. They were able to then move on with their lives and gain property. However, with black people, with African people, global Africans, it was decreed in the 1400s that our slavery was for perpetuity. That we would be forever enslaved. And, because of this lie that has cast us out of the circle of humanity, this is why marches and struggles and laws and all of these things are still not completely effective, because we are still pulling at that root of the lie of white superiority and black inferiority. And it comes from us from all of these different channels, as Anna Maria and I have talked about, with the media, history books, family, religion, workplaces. All of these places, have reinforced this sense that we are less than human, that we are inferior, and that we're not deserving and worthy. Absolutely. And so, is this the truth? What is the truth of black people? Who are we really? Are we really lazy, vulgar, classless?
Stupid.
Who are we really? Take a moment, Anna Maria, what do you think? Maybe 3 minutes to write down the truth?
Yeah.
3 minutes. And so, Kieran, if you play us a little music for 3 minutes, we'll give family an opportunity to write down what is really the truth of who we are. Thank you, Karen, for that music. It really is appreciative. And Anna Maria, I'll read just a couple of comments in the chat. Um, and as our beloved Asha had already jumped in as we were even talking about the lies, added, Black people are beautiful, dynamic, equal, powerful, resilient beings of the universe. I choose to focus on the truth and not the lies. Absolutely. And that's exactly what we do is we focus on the truth of who we really are. Jamie writes, we are beyond the imagination, alchemists of divine proportions, the future, carefully crafted energetic forces, brilliant sources of regeneration, power, and powerful magic operating on ancestral realizations. Give thanks to that Ashe, Jamie. Sean writes, Black people are soulful, rich, salt of the earth, rhythmic, gorgeous, full, gracious, fashionable, and divine. Erica writes, the truth is we are divine, intelligent, magical, loving, shapeshifters, caring, and supportive.
And my thing is that we have to, yes, we're saying all of these things, but we have to help our children to feel that way. Because in our schools, if there are any teachers out there, they do need to to shift a little bit, even with the books that the children are using in class. You need to look through those lessons and see if there are any lessons that help to make our children feel that they are less, and that they are not worthy, and they are not
Absolutely.
right,
I think
and
Karen
they,
Marie might be able to.
and even if, because a lot of the books, the pictures that don't reflect the children, don't reflect the children. And for me, we need to have our children probably start writing their own stories, helping them to write their own stories. And even if it is a photocopied, a booklet that's photocopied with the children's stories, their pictures, and have them do their own stories and draw and and like themselves, because a lot of children, that's why we're having so much problems here in Trinidad and Tobago with criminality and what have you, because we don't, when they talk about black on black crime, we don't like each other, we don't like ourselves. And how do we still continue using those textbooks that are brought in from foreign? There are some people who write local textbooks, but they themselves, all the images are not our images. So those are some things that will have to change if we have to change this whole issue.
Absolutely. And as Anna Maria is talking about, we don't like each other. And it was also set up that way for us to fight with each other and fight for resources. And we call that internalized racism. It's how we have ingested the lies and operate from these lies so that we have difficulty loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves, which is really the key to our surviving and thriving, which is knowing the truth of who we are, our divine brilliance, beauty, knowing our history. That's also something that we touch upon in emotional emancipation circles, the ancient African civilizations that have been erased from history books, and also how the effects of being an oppressed people affect us physically. All of these lies, that we need to fight through, can affect our sense of well-being, our stress. This is why we can be, more disproportionately affected by COVID-19 and diabetes and some of these other health issues, is that because the stress of all of these lies that we have been grown under and fostered in us, is stressful and takes a toll on our body. And so as we will do as our last activity for the day, a settling breath, we do these in emotional emancipation circles to reduce our stress levels, to be able to come back to ourselves, to, just as Anna Maria talked about, have the space, the breadth, the width, the time to raise our consciousness and our awareness so that we can do things differently. Our health and our happiness, our thriving is how we resist these lies and really ingest the beauty of who we are. Anna Maria, would you like to say anything else about the lies before we move on to settling breath?
Well, I really do hope that the audience, the people who are here, understand the objective of this, um, and really, even in their moments with their friends, and I know, when in Trinidad, when we lime in, this is kind of serious business, so we don't want to have to deal with this when we drinking and partying and what have you. But there are times when, you could really help people who, you know, don't feel good about who they are. We had a young man from a very depressed community who worked his way out and became a lawyer. And somebody's comment was he felt that he needed to join the system to do well, to join the system. Uh, and that really kind of caused me to stand back, that he felt he needed to become part of them, to join them, so that he could feel maybe good about himself because he joined this group. um I, I don't know, it was, for me, it was a very negative statement. He didn't do it because he was capable of doing it, and his capability, he just did it to just join them so that he would be accepted, that was such a strange comment for me. But
And to fall in line, to be safer. How many times as Black people have we had to make that choice, make that decision? Do I stay quiet? Do I go along with what is happening in the river? Or do I take a chance and risk and really be myself, be my full self, and say what I feel, do what I think is the right thing to do, or move on? And so, this is also one of the reasons that emotional emancipation circles is not for everyone. Not everyone is willing to look at their consciousness, as Anna Maria talked about, to raise their awareness, to really come out of the lies, to be able to address the truth of who we really are. If people are familiar with the movie The Matrix, there's a choice at one point that the character needs to make. Do you take the blue pill or the red pill? I don't remember the colors. You can either stay in the illusion of this world and everything is fine, or do you take the pill that ingests reality and see things in a completely different structure, a completely different way that is also more risky? And that's a very personal choice for everyone.
Yeah.
And so, as we know, this can be very activating material. This can be very stirring and rousing for folks. And so, just as I mentioned before, this is one of the reasons that our rest and our resilience, our ability to monitor our stress level and take care of our physical bodies, our mental, emotional, and physical selves is important as we move forward to be our whole selves, because it does take some kind of bravery. And as Ruth writes in the chat, that sort of decision is a direct result of feeling powerless, not being aware of who we are and who our ancestors are. It is rooted in fear. I have felt that way too, absolutely. And that is why this system is built against us. It is meant to keep us in fear. So that we don't move forward, so that we don't raise our consciousness, so that we don't make any behavior changes, so that we keep doing what our ancestors have done before. And yet, knowing that our ancestors have fought to get to where we are gives me at least some strength and vitality to begin to move forward in a way that the people that will come behind me can also be proud of. And so we will take any questions at the end. But before we do, if you'd like to sit gently feet flat on the floor. And you're welcome to put your palms face down on the tops of your thighs. If you feel like this has been kind of a lot, it stirred up a lot in me, I need to calm down just a little bit, have your palms face down on your thighs. If you feel, oh, this has really taken something out of me, I feel depleted, I'm feeling drained, I feel like I could actually use some more energy, you're welcome to sit with your palms up on your thighs. And we will just do a little settling breath. We did a little bit of this before we started together, and it's very effective to breathe together, to vibrate together, to feel one another. It's another way of sensing and seeing, as one of our beloved family members said in the chat. And so, what we'll do is breathe in for a count of 2. I breathe in through my mouth, and we'll hold that breath for a count of 4. And then breathe out slowly for a count of 4. Some people prefer to breathe out of their nose and their mouth, and there's a lot of opinion and research about either. You're welcome to do what is best for you. So as we all inhale together, take a breath in. 1, 2, hold. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. Another inhalation, breathe in. 1, 2, hold. And out. 2, 3, 4. We'll do it 2 more times together. Breathe in. 1, 2, hold. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. Last breath together. Breathe in. 1, 2, hold. And out. 2, 3, 4. Thank you so much for being here today, family. And I believe that our moderators, our organizers can put the registration link for emotional emancipation circles into the chat box one more time. And Anna Maria, I would love for you to have any closing comments for us today.
I just want to thank all those who made the decision to come online for this Black Consciousness Festival. We don't have enough of this, I think, and I am hoping that they would go out into their communities, their classrooms, their offices, wherever they are, and at least be using what you learned here today, and make some changes.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank the Black Consciousness Festival as well, and my co-facilitator, Anna Maria Mora, for working together so we can bring you this presentation today. We wish you the best of the rest of this festival. Please, if there's any questions or comments, we'd love to hear them. And also,
I was thinking of just how they felt. Maybe the organizers are going to be doing an evaluation, I'm not sure, but just how they felt about it. I mean, now might not be a good time. They might need some time to get what happened here, like I did, what happened here. The few days, it wasn't just hours, it was days of training, so yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank Erica and Sean, and your audio person, and all of them who really helped and have been patient with me and my logging on.
I believe Erica will join us for a moment before we officially close. I don't see any other questions or comments in the chat just yet. Erica, welcome back. Thank you so much for this time to be together. It's really been a joy.
Nice meeting you, Erica.
Yes, thank you so much.
Dr. Levi, he's a beautiful person.
He is, yes. So thank you so much for this. A bit emotional,
You feel emotional? Okay.
Yeah.
You did this
because I know it brings up so much. I'm okay. I'm going to breathe through it. Let the tears come if they want to, and move, because this is part of, the process, the healing process. And a few of us were doing, I think you might have mentioned this, Jan. They read and study with Dr. Joy DeGroo's post-traumatic slave
Yeah.
syndrome.
Mm.
So for me, when I got the video, this was a continuation of that. So it's that
Right.
excavation,
Yeah.
that knowing that, there's some things we have to go through if we're going to change who we are and change our societies, create the kind of spaces we want to live in. So we have to do the work. And
Absolutely.
this was such a beautiful workshop sharing on this Black Consciousness Day in Brazil. And I remember the comment made by Christian dos Santos earlier. Our ancestors started this movement, and we have to look at new ways of growing. And this is part of that way of growing.
Yes, we are not
So thank you.
alone. We are not alone. Our ancestors are with us, and there are so many people worldwide. And I love that about your festival is that we are, in so many different countries and worldwide. Black people are beginning to sing together more and more and more, and it's
More
beautiful
and
for
more.
bringing all of us
Yes,
together in this way for this festival. Thank you.
yes. We are not alone. So we're going to share the information. One of the good things about the festival is that the information is there. It's available on the website. It's available on YouTube. People go look at it after. So more people will have access to it. So we
Good.
thank you for this. Yes, so we'll share the link again for the circles which start in 2023. And we are going to be with you, Jan. We are coming on board to get, the training. Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
yes.
very
So
excited.
excited.
Good. That's
So
wonderful.
excited. So if you have any last words you want to share with us as we wrap up.
Just together, we will continue to defy this lie. We will defy the lie of white superiority and black and inferiority and embrace the truth of Black humanity.
And
We
I think
will.
they would need to identify their sources of strength. I'm sure they have a lot of
Yes.
them have sources of strength that they focus so much on their weaknesses that the strengths
Mm-hmm.
just pass them by, So they have
Mm-hmm.
to focus, name their sources of strength. So they have homework. I always give homework.
Yeah, we have work to do. And we who know, I think we expected to do better and be better and show by our actions. So we all have work to do. And together, we will get it done.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So thank you so much again. This has been such a wonderful experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the Black Consciousness Festival. And we will be in touch with you. Thank you.
I like your watchwords: pride, power, and
And
practice.
practice.
Yes,
Pride, power, and
and
practice.
practice.
Yes.
I like those
Yes.
watchwords.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Anna
Good.
Maria. Blessings.
Blessings to you too.
Thank you, Erica, and thank you, Sean, and thank you, Kieran.